Welcome back to Highwayman Trucking, folks, and my way on the highway. Got a little bit of a rant here today. I know better than to pay attention to the news, and that's not true. I watch the news every day, read the news every day, but every single day there's just something that pisses me off. And those of you that are like-minded, hardworking Americans that believe in our country and support our president and whatnot, you'll feel the same way. But today I saw the headlines for these Antifa protesters up in Portland, Oregon. And as each of you, I've seen them for quite some time, and they get more disgusting by the second. But yesterday they beat the hell out of a 60-plus-year-old man with a crowbar, damn near killed him. A couple of days prior, they beat up a young Asian journalist, put him in the hospital, had a brain bleed. And there's a lot of controversy over it because the liberal piece of crap mayor and piece of crap police chief in Portland have instructed their officers to do nothing and let these scumbags have the run of the mill, so to speak, get away with violence, affecting our First Amendment rights of free speech, of being able to walk down a public street without fear for our own personal safety, our own personal beliefs. And those of you that know me know that I am very, very pro-law enforcement. I've had some form of thin blue line on my wrist for the last 20 years. So I'm very pro-cop. But to those officers in Portland, I really don't give two shits what your command staff or your mayor tell you. If you sit by and allow people to abuse, criminalize, victimize other people and assault them, you're a fucking coward, and you ought to not have that badge. I grew up in a family of law enforcement, and I can tell you that either one of my grandfathers, my great-grandfather, my father, they would have given their life in defense of someone else. I don't have a lot of friends. The friends that I do have happen to be police officers, and they're those kinds of individuals that you want coming to help you. And I've just never known the kind of police officers that must be up there in that area. I've never known police officers like that won't do what's right above and beyond the cost of whatever their administration thinks. And I'm sure there's some great officers on the Portland department, but if the news articles are true and they allowed these things to happen because of command staff and their mayor, shame on you. And I hope that the United States government is able to hold the mayor and the police chief accountable. I think they ought to be brought up on charges, dereliction of duty at the very least, for their public offices that they swore an oath to protect and defend. And, you know, these Antifa people do not have the right to do what they're doing. And I don't necessarily believe in provoking people, but I think there has to be an end game here. And if that's 200 gun-carrying legal Americans deciding to go out there and say enough's enough, then that's what has to happen. You know, we're approaching the 4th of July. 4th of July, 1776, people had enough. They had enough of the British rule. They had enough of the British government, their taxations. They had enough of being beaten by British soldiers and falsely imprisoned. And people had enough. And that American spirit is still alive in much of our country. And I'm not saying we need to revolt. I'm not saying all this crazy militia talk. But when select groups of a terroristic nature, domestic terrorism, feel they can infringe upon the rights of law-abiding citizens, enough's enough. And I'm sorry if our law enforcement won't or can't do it, then I believe it is the people's right to do it. And, people say, oh, you're promoting bloodshed. No, I'm not. I'm promoting the right to liberty and individual happiness and prosperity. And unfortunately, no different than dealing with the twisted minds of ISIS and some of these Middle Eastern terrorists, they don't understand any other way. They don't understand civility. Some of those extreme groups, they teach their children to kill your children. You cannot reason with that. You cannot, I don't even know what the word would be. You can't compromise with those types of individuals. And anybody of these young Antifa crap punks in their 20s that think that they can beat an elderly man with a crowbar, I'm sorry, the only answer for them is death. And they wear face masks, they cover themselves up like cowards. I'm cussing a lot right now because I'm pissed. And bring that shit to the Southwest. Try your Antifa rally in Phoenix. Guess what? The majority of our state carries guns. Try that in Texas. We carry guns. And unfortunately, there's just no other way to deal with those people. These are spoiled, rotten little entitled brats that have become extremely dangerous and violent. Can you imagine trying to take your kids down to the local McDonald's in Portland and have this crap out there? I mean, you'd be putting your children's life in danger. You think they're going to stop and not accidentally hit a child if they're in their rage? No. These people torch vehicles, smash windows. I mean, they beat people senseless. It happens time and again. And, like the Charlie Daniels song, Hank Williams Jr. song, I'm madder than hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And I just feel that way. And I think that there are still far more good people in this United States of America than there are bad. And if people would just take a stand, put the freaking cell phone down, stop videotaping it, get involved. I don't expect grandma to sit there and get in the middle of a riot and break up a riot. But you know what? You got 3 or 4 able-bodied individuals and you see somebody getting beat down, be a man, take a stand, do something. I think our generations past would be completely ashamed of how we act today and the things that we allow and or make acceptable, or it's none of my business, or it's not my problem. I don't subscribe to that. An average Joe American that I run into out here across the heartland doesn't subscribe to that. And it's just a shame. It's my little rant. And yeah, y'all have a blessed night and a happy 4th of July.